Today we're looking at my New Zealand Broadleaf cutting. I took it from the hedge in my garden back in the spring of 2019, and by August it had already started to bud, so I was confident it had rooted and survived. This is a popular hedge around here, but I haven't seen it much elsewhere, and I definitely haven't seen it as a bonsai. I don't think it's going to be the best, but it's always worth trying. You never know what might happen. So in March 2020 I repotted it. It was in with my ivy. The ivy video will actually be out in a few weeks. Anyway, I got it out. As you can see, it had some okay roots. So I potted it up in its own little pot and pretty much left it be. I like taking cuttings, but at the same time they are kind of rubbish. This is so small and it's going to take forever to get anywhere. If I grew this from seed, it would have taken me about a year to get to this point, so I haven't really saved much time considering this cutting is pretty much a year old at this point. I don't mind this stage of a tree, but it's not really exciting to watch and it's a lot of waiting around. So in May I decided to go back to the hedge and take another cutting, a bigger cutting, but you can't just take a bigger cutting, that doesn't really work, but air layers do. So I made a layer in there. It's hard to see, it's also hard to get in, so that's why I used tin foil. It was just easier to wrap it around that way. Hopefully I've managed to cut all the way around and hopefully I've done it properly. So until that's ready, we're just going to have to wash this little guy, put on a few leaves and not really change much over time. Luckily in August I checked the air layer and seen some roots poking out. As you can see, it's a pretty tall hedge and it's pretty dense. Maybe you can see some roots here. It's not loads, but it should be enough. So it's time to take it off. The middle of August isn't the best time for removing them, but I was impatient, so as long as I look after it, it'll be fine. So this took a bit of effort, but I managed to cut it out at the end. I just couldn't get the right angle to cut the branch. So here's what I've got. It's not massive, but it's a lot better than that tiny twig I've been looking at during this video. So I potted it up, nothing special, just buried in my usual soil mix. Then, I remembered it was pretty top heavy, and the fact I hadn't wired it sort of came back to haunt me. So yeah, I pulsed that up. So I just took it out and cut it back and repotted it again. This is what I was left with. So it's pretty weird and pretty ugly looking, but most importantly it is a lot thicker than its skinny brother, so I'm happy enough. Here in September you can see them side by side. I think it's safe to say air laying beats cuttings, it just speeds it up quite a lot. I still have a lot of work to do here, but the thicker trunk will help it a lot. It'll be interesting to see these both in 5 or 10 years. I think one will be a lot more advanced than the other, but we'll see what happens. These are evergreen, by the way, so they won't change over winter. here they are now. So the small one was started nearly 2 years ago and the bigger one is 8 or 9 months old. It's not exactly the most exciting video, but hopefully you can see the advantages of air laying. Thanks for watching, see you next time.